a mystery near the Missouri.
Where he was laying, there were weeds probably this tall, and there was just a narrow path through there.
A popular minister shot dead at his favorite fishing hole.
He said something to somebody about, you know, when the mulberries start dropping, the crappies start biting, or something like that.
It was June 20th, 2002, around 4 in the afternoon. Kevin Morse made a stop to throw in a line at the river levee in between Nebraska City and Sidney, Iowa. But someone ended his life.
I woke up happily married and went to bed as a widow.
After he was shot, Kevin Morse managed to hit the redial button on his cell phone. The call came here to the nursing care facility outside of Sidney, Iowa. He ministered here. He also owned this place with his wife.
He hit redial and said, "This is Kevin, I've been shot," to one of the workers who called me then.
She called me and said, "Your dad's been shot." We drove, started heading down the interstate, and pretty much drove straight to it for some reason. I don't know how or why. We just ended up driving almost straight to it.
It's ruled a homicide because he died at the hands of another. That's the definition of a homicide. It's ruled a question death because we're not going to call it a murder until we have more information.
A pastor's death left so many questions and prayers. Who killed Kevin Morse? He was 44, a father of 3, married 24 years, a minister who left his church to help mentally ill patients.
He always seemed to be doing something for somebody else rather than doing something for him.
He was a good man, a very good man, and I can't imagine somebody intentionally wanting to hurt him.
The first strong lead, 2 boys seen running from the area, one possibly carrying a rifle. Speculation, they accidentally fired a shot, not knowing the minister was there. But the lead went nowhere. The teens never came forward.
If it's a teenager with a friend and maybe they weren't supposed to be there, you know, there's a lot of reasons why they might have taken off. But no, we just like to talk to them.
6 years later, things change. Circumstances change in people's lives, and you know, who knows what they want. Well, they start thinking about right and wrong a little more, maybe.
The bullet hit Kevin Morse in the chest, coming in at a downward angle. It didn't come straight on. So investigators know that the shooter fired his gun somewhere above where the minister was standing. Maybe the shooter was on the Missouri River Bridge on Highway 2 above the levee.
It would be a kind of a wild shot. You know, somebody was just sniped from the bridge.
The angle was down, and that bothers me. So, and I guess deep down I know it probably was not an accident.
During the summer of 2002, killers Lee Boyd Malvo and John Allen Muhammad terrorized the country with their sniper shooting spree. Investigators checked out a possible connection.
We're not ruling out anything.
Adding to the mystery, the minister's message from the grave, a premonition written in a letter found in his Bible.
But he started out basically saying, if you are reading this letter, then something is happening to me.
Minister Morse writes, there is nothing anyone can say or do to change that.
That was a goodbye letter, basically. And he addressed all of us kids, and he addressed Mom, and he addressed the family.
He signs it, Love, Dad. And in a cryptic P.S., as if he knew he would be killed, he writes, if you are angry about what happened to me, please deal with it quickly. Don't waste your time being angry at someone or God.
You know, one of the last things that I remember, you know, it said, you know, whatever has happened to me, don't be mad at the person, you know. Let God judge them because you're not going to be able to judge them.
Obviously, it raises questions. You know, whenever we find something like that, it raises questions.
A questioned death. A man of God taken away from his family, a family whose hearts are still breaking 6 years later.
I hope somebody would have the decency to come forward so that they would know what happened too. It's just been it's a nightmare, and you keep thinking you're going to wake up and it's going to be over.
Pictures of predators. Society and stereotypes have taught us it's the women who are the victims, not the suspects. But take a look. These are familiar faces to their victims.
You're talking moms, stepmoms, aunts, neighbors, babysitters, teachers.
Take Nebraska's own case of a teacher accused of preying on a student. At age 25, Kelsey Peterson, a math teacher in Lexington, is charged with having sex with one of her students, a 13-year-old boy.
I asked her if she knew it was illegal, and she said she knew, but she was in love.
Peterson's not the first female teacher charged with such a crime, and most likely won't be the last.
I'm not sure you would have seen this 20 years ago.
UNO professor Lisa Sample has been studying sex offenders, both men and women, for the past decade.
I can't really say if we're seeing more of it. We are definitely hearing about it more than we ever did before.
The Lexington teacher's attorney claims the boy is not a victim.
I think he was out there talking about this, and Kelsey Peterson was a notch on his belt.
In years past, younger boys with older women, it wasn't seen as a sex crime. In fact, in some ways, it was kind of heralded among young adolescent boys. We have changed the way we view sex crimes over time.
She seemed normal?
Yeah. She didn't seem like a bad person to me.
What about when the victim is a young girl, like this 7th grader? We're protecting her identity as well as her parents.
It majorly blew me away. I mean, I didn't expect to see a woman kissing on my daughter.
The family thought Tina Murray was a friend, and they trusted her to watch their daughter one night last summer in Omaha.
I was like, you can't do this, I'm too young. She's like, so?
Tina Murray is 28 and pleaded guilty to first-degree sexual assault.
She admitted to the police that she did more than just kissed her.
In Douglas County, there are more than 300 registered sex offenders. 5 are women. In Pottawatomie County, there are 88 registered sex offenders, only 1 woman. According to the Nebraska Crime Commission, convictions of women committing sex crimes have gone up. Checking the first available stats from the year 2000, there were 45 convictions, including 1 rape statewide. In 2006, 67 sex crimes and 3 rapes. Not much change in Iowa. In 1998, 10 convictions in the state, same for 2007.
We would never believe that women could commit a sex crime. We didn't even believe that was biologically possible.
But Dr. Sample says women have more opportunity to molest.
Traditionally, women have always been the majority of caregivers for children.
Most women are mothers and stuff and have kids of their own. You would think that they have kids of their own, they wouldn't be that way. But I guess in her case it was wrong.
So she started kissing you, and what did you think?
I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know she was like this. I was like, if nobody catches her, I was gonna either tell somebody or stay away from her.
Were you scared?
Yeah, like really, that she was gonna hurt me.
And this family has advice. Be wary of women.
Just tell somebody if it happens. Just tell them right away. Just say it. Tell them everything that happens. That's all I have to say.
And regardless of the man or woman, you know, it's sick. It's just plain and simple.